Hey everyone, it's Amador, and I wanted to make a cutesy little monster Halloween card. And I looked through my stash and I did find, ironically, I found this Hello Bluebird Yeti stamp set. And I know it's for Christmas, but I'm like, you know what? The trees have the three little layers, and I went ahead and went for it. I also used this cloud stencil from the Sassy Club and the Sassy Club Onyx ink for the clouds. Here are the little Yetis, and I went ahead and just colored them in unconventional, I mean, colors, or just cutesy little colors. But the trees, I did make like candy corn. Now, I know people don't like candy corn. I actually do. But I went ahead and colored them that way so I can make like a little candy corn forest. And that's where my little Halloween Yetis live. Now, with the black onyx ink, I went ahead and used this cloud stencil. Sandra from the Sassy Club actually designed this more to begin with for like agendas and planners and stuff like that. But I actually like it because it's a thin, long strip. It's not a square. Because let me tell you, whenever I use those square stencils to make clouds, I end up making a mess on everything. Because the ink, as you rotate it, it just goes everywhere. At least this one, I just flip it one way or another, or the other, because one side has the small clouds and the other side has the bigger clouds. Now, what I also like to do is once I have my clouds stenciled in, I feel like the lines are too sharp, so I softly go in with some of the ink just to kind of softly fill in the spaces to make them a little bit not so staunch on the actual paper. So here you'll see me just slightly going over it. It doesn't change a lot, but I feel like it gives the purple part of the paper a little bit more of a shadowy look as opposed to like just starch lines or arches for the clouds. I'm going to go ahead and glue this with my Scotch tacky glue, and I lost, or I don't know where I put the little hills and whatever dies that I have. And so I said, you know what? They're basically curves. I can figure this out. So I just took a strip of paper, the width of the purple cardstock, which is a quarter of an inch smaller than the A2 size card. And I just decided to just raw it and cut them. Here I am testing this unicorn ink for the edge of like this piece of paper that I had left over, because I wanted it to look not like snow. I wanted it to look like a little bit of a moonlight on the ground, because I'm going to do something crazy. By the way, there are some times that I'm making cards or making projects and I may not have the actual die or the actual product to do it, so you just kind of have to jerry rig it. You have to just, just like go for it. And I just went ahead and I cut the arches, the little hills, but just make sure that you cut them in smooth strokes as opposed to just chop chop chop. That way you get smoother lines. Now here I just went ahead and took a 1-inch punch and punched out a corner from just a random piece of cardstock. I think it was a leftover from the card base. And again, I'm using the unicorn ink, and here's what I'm doing. I'm not brushing it necessarily. I'm tapping it, I'm dabbing it in, and on the center part it's much brighter than on the edge, so it gives that kind of like moon that has like those little craters and stuff like that. And then I'm just going to go through and try my jelly roll pen, because these things, just like my friend Marilyn G said on a video that I saw today actually, that they don't always work. And I should get I actually have the paint pens that she recommended, but I only have the chunky tips, so I'm gonna have to get the smaller ones. But anyway, I digress. I went ahead and just made some little dots and some little stars. It's just when they work, they work. I mean, if it doesn't, I just keep on going. Here I am just adding some mounting foam to both of my layers. If you see, the second layer is a little bit higher up and from the front, because I want the front to be a little bit higher. This actually allows me to tuck in the little monsters or the trees behind the actual hills. And here I am, if you know, I'm doing the unicorn ink again. Once it dried, I went ahead and stippled it again to give it that darker, brighter color. And see, now it kind of almost looks like it's meant to be a moon, because why not? Again, I have a moon stamp set, but it's huge compared to the little size that I need. So here I am just kind of placing where everything, if you guys have seen my other videos, I like to place everything first before I glue everything down, just to make sure that I know. And here I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to tuck in, because I don't want the full three Yetis on there. It might be too much. I wanted one to look like it was peeking out. Originally, I wanted the orange one, but then I wanted the orange one to be in the middle that's waving high, basically. So I just decide where to sneak in the pink one. And while I'm putting in mounting foam on everything, because even though it's already layered, let's put some more layers on it. Why not? I should really invest in the like mounting foam stock, and considering how much foam tape or mounting foam tape that I use. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous, because some of the rolls from Michaels are like $25, and the ones that I normally use by 3M, that thing's like that's been like $40-$50 at one point. But I digress. Anyway, enough of that foolish silliness. Here I am just trying to figure out where everything goes, and in a moment, I'm going to, and by the way, some of this foam I double up and then put it behind certain characters, because I want them to pop out even more. And this one I placed right here because it's kind of looking up, so it kind of looks like it's looking at the moon. So it was kind of meant to be, even though I just haphazardly decided to do this card and to do it this way because I wasn't sure how I was going to do a moon. So I'm going to go ahead, and as always, I do glue some of the figures on the actual base of the card, again, to give you depth and dimension. So you actually have like, it shows like you have multiple layers, because it looks like hills. It looks like they're in the little valley, in the little candy corn valley. And here I am just trying to figure out how far my little pink Yeti is going to go in, and I just do a quick straight cut with my scissors, and see right there, so it's going to look like it's peeking in. So of course, what do we need? Some more mounting foam. Go ahead and add mounting foam on that, and I'm going to also place other candy corn trees around it. See, I line it right along with the purple cardstock, just so it looks like, so it's kept within the black frame of the card base, which is A2, I think I said. But here I am. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some trees. And you know, on occasions, I like to have like little stuff poking off of the sides, just because I can't help myself. So I'm adding some trees within this little candy corn valley to make more like a little area where there's more trees, and this little Yeti's peeking out. And that way you kind of can't see now. Actually, no, you can't see now where the belly's cut off. So he's basically coming in, coming out, excuse me, from behind the little trees. So again, more mounting foam and more seriously, it's absurd the amount of mounting. I apologize if I say that too many times. We could probably have some kind of drinking game at this point. But so I'm just going to go ahead and finish up figuring where all of my little trees are going to go. And I think I have one last tree that I actually glued towards the back, behind the orange little Yeti. And if you think that this card was full of haphazardly attempts of making hill cutouts and a moon out of a discarded piece of cardstock and a hole punch, and you thought that's where it ended, no, not today, because apparently I decided to do this card. The only thing I actually did think through was the Hello Bluebird Yeti coloring, and I color everything with my Copic markers. The only thing that I actually planned was the candy corn trees and the little Yetis, because I'm not sure if you noticed, usually my little vintage tray I'll have all of the characters, embellishments, and the sentiments. Well, I don't have a sentiment, and I didn't want to use, again, this stamp set is actually a Christmas stamp set, so I didn't have an actual sentiment. So once I finish, and this is the last little candy corn tree that I'm just adding, because I wanted to look like it was more trees on the left hand side. So here I'm trying to figure out how I want my sentiment, because I don't have one. I figured why not? Let's just write one out, because on occasions I can have nice penmanship, but then there's the occasions where I actually need it to work, and it doesn't. So here you'll see me write two different ways, and I wanted it to look like it was in kind of in a banner, like because the sentiment is let's boo this. Oh my gosh, if I can speak. So I've had soda today, so bear with me. And I went ahead, and at first I wrote it in like lowercase letters and everything, but then I typically write my handwritten notes in capital letters. I don't know why. And so I went ahead and did it that way on the back side. This is my third attempt. And I just went ahead and made them thicker, made the boo a little bit more shadier, so it gave it more emphasis for the sentiment. And yeah, I'm literally, a lot of this is just basically by hand. Why? Because again, I'm crazy like that. So I cut it in the curve that it is because that is the curve that I have over the little hills in the sky. And I use my favorite little pair of scissors for the edges, these Teresa Collins, excuse me. I don't know who Sarah Collins is. Like I said, I've had soda. Anyway, I've had a Dr. Pepper today. That's wild. I go ahead and put what? That's right, mounting foam on my sentiment. People are gonna think I'm crazy. By the way, I'm doing voiceovers for this like almost at midnight, but I digress. So here I am, just adding the little, the little sentiment. I personally love it. I love the fact that I didn't have half the material that I needed, and I figured it out because that's what crafting's about. So let me know what you think. Let me know what project you want me to see or what other items you would like me to make because I realized I didn't know where the dye was or I don't have it. But thank you for stopping by.